This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2025 Acura RDX, $399 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2025 Acura Integra, $289 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
The lost city of Atlantis reveals its secrets at Toyota of Hollywood. Get legendary deals on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a 2024 Corolla. Not $24,000, $20,988. Unlock the wonders of 0% financing for 5 full years, 0 down. Rediscover Atlantis at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Oh, great. You got a doorbell camera. Now you got a front row seat to your house getting robbed. No. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Get out of my house!
Ooh, Mom's jewelry. There goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, a free doorbell camera.
Free?
One that'll actually work for you. It's not total security unless it's the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
This O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2024 Acura ZDX, $299 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The game is final. Tua and the boys are in the locker room. Let's go over what happened in this game in our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The post-game show is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, Toyota of Hollywood, RM Contractors. The stats are final. The insiders are ready. The platform is mastered by the one and only Sean Stanley. Now, let's find out what the Big O thinks about this matchup as we start our Dolphins post-game show. Here's Big O.
Lordy, where do we start? Where do we start? Where do we end? When does it ever end? I don't know when it ends. As I told somebody that follows us on Twitter, he asked me, when will this end? I said, when we die. When we die, we will stop our suffering. When we die, we will stop living Jay Brophy. When we die, we will stop living Ray Lucas. When we die, we will stop living Cleo Lemon. When we die, we'll stop living the early 90s Bills. When we die, we'll stop living John Riggins. When we die, we'll stop living Adam Gase, Cam Cameron, Brian Flores, Mike McDaniel. Line up the clown show. It's just, it actually, can I ask somebody to do me, some of you out there are pretty crafty with these GIFs, okay? Whatever you want to call it. You ever seen a clown car? Can somebody create a clown car and just like one Dolphin coach after another come out of the clown car? So really, basically, the misery ends when they bury us 6 feet under, because this is all we know for 40 years. It doesn't matter what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's there for the taking. Oh, we come up with a wildcat, and then when you get to the playoffs, the Ravens spank you and send you home and show you that you're frauds. It's just kind of the way it goes, This is who we are. It's what we've been, and this is all part of a train of pain that comes every single year. And this, we just added another, boxcar to it. Conjunction junction, what's your function? Oh, screwing up fans and ruin seasons. I don't know. It's just, I can't. I've been doing this for, I'm starting my 35th year here. 35th year now. This month now starts my 35th year in this business, doing this shit. And nothing's changed, dude. In those 35 years and before I was in it, it's been going on forever. It's been going on forever. I started in the 90s. This pain has been going on since the 80s. You know, we've been frauds forever, and it's just one of those things that, and there's not a lot of, I know we're going to get the broken record, fire Greer, fire McDaniel, cut Tua, trade to Ross, sell the team. None of them are going to happen. Okay. And as we told you yesterday on Twitter, if you follow us at Big O Show, and we told you in the pregame, the report of Greer retiring, that's ridiculous. There's no truth to that. Now, could they fire anybody? Yeah, they could fire anybody. I don't think anybody's going to get fired. I think they're bringing them all back. They're all tied to them fiscally. So they're going to bring them all back, and they're all going to either sink or swim next year. That's what's going to happen. And yes, I get it. I'm frustrated. The Patriots are going to get Mike Vrabel. You know that when they lost to the Colts, I told you the season was over for me. I quit when they lost to the Colts, and I was in Indianapolis with Sean and a whole bunch of you fantastic listeners out there that were at the Indianapolis game. We have the best fans. Did you see the MetLife takeover? We have the best freaking fans in the world. You people deserve so much better than this shit team does every year. But when I was there at that Indy game and we lost, for me, that was the end of the season. I tuned out everything after that. I stopped reading anything from beat writers. I stopped watching Dolphin shows or anything like that. I just stopped watching. I just stopped caring, to be quite honest. And I was open about it. I said it on my show. I'll talk about it here, but I just didn't go any extra worrying about reading anything else. It was over. And I said right there and then, fire that guy and hire Mike Vrabel. Not that they're going to do that, but that I just want on the record to say that's what I would do. I would have fired Mike McDaniel and given the keys to the kingdom, bring over Mike Vrabel, assess the team with us the rest of the way. Let's make the changes in the offseason. Let's move forward. But again, like I've said before, it's hard to give the front office the chance to get their third coach. And I get that. That's going to be tough. As much as I like the front office, it's going to be an issue. So I can, put the kibosh on all of that. You can't trade Tua. You can't cut Tua. You fiscally can't do it, you dumbasses. Okay? You may not like anybody. You may not like the coach. You may not like the front office. You may not like the owner. They're not going anywhere. So until they actually fire somebody, then we'll talk about it. Outside of that, I don't know what else I can tell you. Because you can put fire Greer and trade Tua and all that, none of it until they actually do something. We can't do anything about it. There's nothing to do except run our mouths. And, I'm not going to sit here and start talking about potential coaches when they haven't changed coaches. I'm not going to sit here and talk about potential general managers when they haven't changed a general manager. And I'm not going to talk about, can the Moss brothers buy the Dolphins? I'm not going to start doing stupid conversations like that. There'll be plenty of shows that need that kind of material, and there's plenty of you suckers that will get into that. I'd love to talk about it when it happens. But for now, we're going to have to talk more about what do they do moving forward to try to make this better, which this is what kind of leads me to how is it that how can any of you feel good about next season? It's just human nature. Okay. Why? It's human nature. I want to know how you literally have to lie to yourself, right? I know those fans. I know the fans that well, you never know. It's been 40 years, right, of all this shit with even better teams or better coaches or better defenses or better running games or better quarterback. Well, only one better quarterback.
But you know what I mean overall. Either way, all different kinds of things, and it's been all kinds of failure. And you know, the people, I get those Dolph fans, those people are kind of crazy to me in a way. If you just lie to yourself, you're kind of crazy. You know, está medio loco. I hate to say it. You know, you refuse to see the writing on the wall. So the rest of us that live in reality, okay, the ones that live in reality right now, not that are willing to lie to themselves to try to create some utopia that doesn't exist, okay? Those of us that live in reality, how do you feel positive about next year? Okay, if I don't like McDaniel, which I don't, okay, I'm good with the front office. Again, that doesn't have to agree with you guys out there. Some of you may not like the front office and the coach. Some of you may like the coach and not the front office. Whatever it is, Tua, whatever. I have a problem with Tua, the moron, not the passer. Okay, I have problems with Tua, the idiot that thinks he's a football player. That moron. I don't have a problem with the passer. Some of you have a problem with the passer also. You know what I'm saying? So we have all these issues. I want to know how in your right mind you see anything positive next year. I understand on the business side, you guys don't sign the check, so you can't, you know, they screwed up. They committed to Tua when they really didn't have to, but I get it. The McDaniel one, that made no sense at all. McDaniel had not proven an extension, but this is typical Stephen Ross because he's an idiot. And he did the same thing with Joe Philbin. Joe Philbin wins a meaningless game with Minnesota. I lose my mind. Like, this bum doesn't deserve to get a job, and he wins a meaningless game against Minnesota, just like meaningless wins now down the stretch. You're 6-3 down the stretch now because you know you had a chance to go 7-2 now down the stretch. No, now you went 6-3, and big deal, dude. You capitalize in a bunch of bullshit down the stretch. Typical Miami Dolphins. So I'm just wondering how I can't spin anything for next year. For me, it's impossible. One, I cannot trust Tua anymore. Not the passer, the person. The person refuses to learn. And if you still don't understand that, you better listen to the pregame show and the Tua sound bites and the breakdown of it so you can understand what the hell I'm talking about. And his level of ignorance is disturbing. It's literally disturbing. Okay? Seriously. So McDaniel, there's 3 years of it, dude. You saw again the play calling. Poor Travis Wingfield was driving, and he's, works for them. So it's like everybody sees it. Maybe some writers don't want to say it because they don't want to be, the Dolphins are the kind of team that if you say negative shit, they hold it against you. Trust me. I have some experience. Anyway, so it's just one of those things. So I get it. They deal with the guy every day, and he's a really nice guy, but he's a terrible coach. Mike McDaniel is one of the worst coaches. He has great play designs. We have to separate the two, okay? Or separate that from the 80 other things he can't do. Just because he can play design doesn't mean he knows when to call them, how to call them. He doesn't really know how to handle a team. He has no presence whatsoever. I just want to know. I want to know, how do you create any kind of positivity for next season? That's what I want to know, because I cannot figure it out for the life of me. There is no part of me that can get rah about it at all. You're literally, I'm going to watch because I love my Dolphins. I'm going to follow them. If my stupid ass ends up traveling to a game or two, I'll do it. That's not the point. But deep down inside, I don't believe in anything right now. I don't believe they have a shot at doing anything right now. You're literally going to have to do it a couple of times. Like next season, if they have like a couple of really good teams, they're going to have to beat those teams. And for me to like start to believe, like you're literally going to have to start doing it before I even believe anything. Because I'm never going to believe you. I'm never going to give you a chance. I'm never going to give you the benefit of the doubt, especially with that clown as your head coach. And he's a clown. I'm sorry. That guy is a complete goof. There's nothing about Mike McDaniel that says head coach. Zero. Okay? Zero. He's a terrible head coach. I really have that problem right now of where the hell do I come up? Where do I muster? And it's been years. It's decades. And let me tell you something. This is why I always tell you, you young fans, you people are my heroes. You fans that are in your 20s and 30s and maybe even early 40s and you travel and you're still rabid about and all that. I love you people because you don't know shit about actual, like, real Dolphin football. All you know is misery. You don't know shit. You've never seen good Dolphin football. Like, you've never seen a real defensive line, offensive line, running game, quarterback, coaching, because that was the 70s. That was when I was a kid. When I'm 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, that's when I saw like a real team. Then when we got to the 80s, it was kind of, gimmicky. It's what we were. We were never really a real tough team anymore because we were never really a great defensive line, great offensive line, great running game. Never had that balance ever again. We've never seen it. So you young people, like, my God, you freak me out. Because you ain't got shit to hang your hat on. Nothing. At least those of us that lived like the good days, we kind of can hang on to that. We can hang on to the Orange Bowl. We can hang on at least to a little bit of, beating the Bears in 85 and maybe even a little bit of the early 90s, even though getting your ass kicked thoroughly by the Bills wasn't fun, but they were a decent team, whatever. And that's, that's kind of like the end. It's kind of like the end. And still those teams in the 90s were frauds, and the teams in the 80s were frauds. Frauds. Because when they were put to the real test, they folded like a cheap tent. Typical Dolphins. So it's hard, dude. It's like every decade is filled with misery, shortcomings, failures, choke jobs, embarrassments. Today was another embarrassment. If you had a real coach that really knew how to create a backup quarterback, this fool was around Skylar Thompson for nearly 3 years, and Skylar is still on the team. That's how embarrassing that is. Mike McDaniel's so sensitive that he won't let go of Skylar Thompson. Why would you have that guy on your roster? The guy couldn't even hand the damn ball off. You took him out of the game yourself. If that was flukish or anything, you would have kept him right in the game after that, man. You took him out because you knew. And then he's still on your roster because you still refuse to part. And then you bring Snoop Hundley. And by the way, you guys erasing your tweets out there? Oh, no, Snoop Hundley, backup. Oh, Snoop Hundley. How many of you, you're going back to your Blue Sky? Going back to your Twitter? Your Instagram, your Facebook, your Threads, huh? Going back and finding those. Oh, yeah, no, let me go get back. No, I don't want anybody to know that I wanted Skylar Huntley. Some of you writers were talking about, yeah, let's bring Snoop back for backup. Like, what are you guys smoking, dude? And whatever you're smoking, share, assholes. Because it's really good shit. It's pretty greedy on your part. You guys got some shit that is so good it makes you think Snoop Huntley is potential backup for the Miami Dolphins. You people are smoking some really good weed, bro. Really good weed. Congratulations. Potency, what is it, like 102%? May not exist, but it says it on the label, right? Is that what it is? Let me get to the super chats here because remember, Cash App or Venmo, we appreciate the super chats. We love the super chats. Thank you. But remember, stinking YouTube takes 30%. So we encourage you, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can use the QR codes that Sean Stanley will show you right now for Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. And let me go first to Venmo.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Joe Shad tweets out something from Tyreek Hill. He said, Tyreek Hill just told a few local reporters he has to do what's best for his career, whether it's in Miami or elsewhere.
Brother, what can I tell you? I said last year, don't guarantee this guy any money. Did I not? Did I not? Did I not? Did I not? You know, I'm sorry that I've always got to play this stupid ass role, and I hate it, to be quite honest, you know. But like it gets infuriatingly tiresome to be constantly right about obvious shit, and most of you and our teams don't see it. Whether it's Pat Riley with Jimmy Butler 2 years ago, or X, or Xavier, or Tyreek Hill, where I said, do not guarantee him that money. And they guaranteed him that goddamn money. And now you're stuck with him no matter what, and nobody wants him anyway, so he can run his mouth, whether it's here or there. Bro, nobody wants you. Nobody wants you, so just shut up already and go take care of your 47 kids. But that's the problem we have, dude. It's the problem we have. There's no foresight here. And there's no balls. Sometimes you have to say no. You have to learn when is when. Like, some things are not real. It's not real that he's going to continue to get 1,700 yards per season. And if you wait till it falls off, you can't get off the gravy train. You got to get off at that moment. I know it's hard. And I know it's hard when X has 10 interceptions, but he's on the back end of his career and he had 10 interceptions with a whole bunch of knee injuries and off-season surgeries and all kinds of baby mamas and problems. It was so easy to say trade him now, but no, you get intoxicated because what do you think? 10 interceptions are coming the next year, and the next year he had 7 for the next 3 years. I am sick and tired of watching this shit take place and call it over and over and over again on this goddamn show. I am sick of it. I told you Chubb was gone, right? Before it even happened. I told you, watch it. They don't activate him. They're cutting him because they need the cap space. What happened? They're not activating him. They're going to cut his ass in June because they have to. It's the whole thing. Again, please tell me how I can be positive next year. How can I spin it? There's no way I can spin it. The problems are deep. You don't have the coach to navigate through all this shit. This guy runs a country club. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which of course we love that. All right, let's start off with Robert B is the first on Venmo. Mike McPunk, CEO of the CFUs Inc., Huntley and Waddle are in the lead CFUs this week. Pathetic game plan and yet again unprepared to play. Sick of it. Robert in Denver. Robert, I don't blame you, my brother. Waddle again with the drops. Like it's really embarrassing. It's pathetic that Jalen Waddle lacks concentration. You know that? By the way, some of that audio might be on social media, Sean, with Tyreek. I'm seeing it there. See if you can peel it off and we can hear the folk. We can play this clown's comments for our Dolphins. Anthony Lizzie, thank you for the love on Venmo, my friend. Greer hired McDaniel, and he ultimately allowed McDaniel to make too many personnel decisions. McDaniel is a play designer, and that's it. He's not a leader, not a game day coach. Ridiculous. Nothing will change. Both should go. Love your show. I can't, as much as I like McKenzie and Greer and Allen and those guys, I can't argue with Anthony. Those of you that want the front office and the coaching gone, I can't argue. As much as I like the front office, I get it. It's Anthony's right. As I've said before, they're in charge of the coaches, and the two coaches have been a failure. And again, how do you give them a chance to get the third? Anthony, love you, brother. Thank you for the support. Really appreciate the support on Venmo. And can't argue with you, man. I completely understand how you feel. Joe Cracchiola, thank you, Big O, for always keeping it real. Another disappointing year for our relevant team. Oh, well, there's always next year. Love the show. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you, sir. Hope to run into you again at a concert. Adam Pinkser. Saw you and your lovely wife, I believe. Was it the wife, I believe, in Indianapolis? Oh, you were right. You said Miami's season was over after the loss in Indy. Yes, sir. And Miami would lose to the crappy Jets with our luck. Yeah, I was fearful that we would split because it's so Dolphins. And once Huntley was starting, not Tua, you kind of feel that there's a chance you could lose that game. The Pats will hire Vrabel. Get ready for another decade of futility. What did we do to ourselves to deserve? I have no idea. All I know is I meet a shit ton of great human beings that are Dolphin fans all over on the road this year and in past years, on social media, everywhere. It doesn't matter. Our London-based fans are freaking awesome. Our Mexican fans fucking rock. I mean, it's a joke, dude. It's a joke. We didn't deserve anything. We support the shit out of the team. We talk about them. We buy their shirts, hats, all that kind of crap. We're talking about them year round. You know, a large portion of this damn platform is dedicated to them and all that. It's tiresome. You didn't do anything to deserve this. Alberto Larios. Thank you, sir. The best thing of the season was to listen to you every day. Tua isn't the main problem. It's the head coach. Should get rid of him. Yeah, but Tua is a main problem because of his failure to want to protect himself. So that alone makes it a real problem. Leon Fresco, thank you, Big O, for being there through the season. That would have led to more lost Dolphin fans than I have experienced. Hopefully season ticket renewals go down the tubes. I can't see them going up. Again, how are you positive? You can't be. Peter German, as always, rocking on Venmo. Thank you, sir. First off, to anyone that thought Snoop was a backup, can let it go. McDaniel has to give up play calling. Today he showed exactly why. My daughter could come up with a defensive game plan to stop him. Embarrassed to call myself a Dolphins fan after 40 years of the same. And let me tell you, Peter, you lead me to something that I do want to talk about. A couple things that I see, okay? I'm not telling you that I have perfect vision about this, okay? But these are things that I see, my friends. If I'm Anthony Weaver, I am dying to get the hell out of here. The guy that's my head coach is inferior to me as a coach. I'm better than that guy. In fact, you're the Miami Dolphins, and the offensive coordinator that's going to be a head coach for somebody out there, well, he was here in Miami. The guys that you don't hire that were here as assistant coaches or interim like Dan Campbell or even I don't even believe in the guy in Cincinnati. Okay, but he's had more success than our guys. You know what I'm saying? Those are the guys that have success. You know, those fringe guys that leave here and all that kind of stuff. They're assistants. They were assistants years ago. They're, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's just, this is our luck. This is our luck. But look at us, dude. Look at us. And so I'm thinking, if you're Weaver, why are you staying here? There's going to be a bunch of jobs open. He's got to get an opportunity. He did a fantastic job. And then you're watching Calais Campbell and on the sidelines hugging Weaver. And immediately I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. If he's hugging Weaver that way, then maybe he comes back for a year, but he comes back for that guy. Wherever Weaver goes, I wouldn't be surprised if Calais Campbell is playing for him next year. If he wants to extend his career one more year, Weaver leaves and uses that as a foundational piece to start his team and defense wherever he goes. Because if you're Calais Campbell, let's drop the Dolphin hats, drop the Dolphin colored sunglasses, all that shit. Forget about that he played at the University of Miami and all that bullshit. There's no reason to stay here. There is nothing being built here in a positive direction. And you have one of your best players is a cancer in Tyreek Hill. Okay? He's a cancer. He has constant problems off the field, creates problems on the field. You have a quarterback who is completely confused about who he is and refuses to protect himself. So there's no future here with Tua playing like that. Zero. You have a head coach that's a goofball. So if you're Weaver and you're Calais Campbell, you are two people that do not belong in this organization. And so you're the Miami Dolphins, and now you're going to watch Mike Vrabel go to the Patriots, and you're going to watch Weaver go to some other team, and we're going to say, holy shit, this guy was here. And you ended up keeping Mike McDaniel because you didn't want to keep this guy. I'd rather hire this guy. I'd rather dump McDaniel and elevate Weaver right now as my head coach and take my chances into next season. And give myself a better chance of winning that locker room over and creating real men in that locker room and a culture that really defines what football is all about. Because I think a guy like Weaver brings that to the table. So I'm just saying, it's something that you be prepared. And don't be shocked if you not only lose Weaver, but then you also lose a player like Campbell. And he goes and he instead of retiring, goes, no, I'm gonna play one more year and I'm gonna play for whatever team that is that hires Weaver. I mean, it really sucks being us. I gotta tell you, it sucks royal ass being us. What do you got, Sean?
All right, so it was about 2 minutes long, but I took the last 26 seconds of it because that was the best part of the Tyreek presser. It wasn't even a presser. They got him outside the locker rooms, so it wasn't even like a presser. So you want me to play it now or you want to wait?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This was when he was asked a couple times about what he meant by his comments, and this is what happened at the end.
I don't even know, bro. You know, this is my first time. I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, or that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. You know, so it was great playing here, but you know, at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for, you know, for my career and, you know, what's best. Because I'm too much of a competitor to be, you know, just out there.
Mean you thinking about leaving here?
If it is, hey, it gets.
That's it. We didn't get it. Yep.
No, at the end, he's walking away, and I think he was being taken away by the Dolphins PR. And he's like, yeah. And then he goes, yes, at the end when to answer it.
He pretty much said he's going to make his way out of here. That's you remember he said a week ago that he's in a great place and the Dolphins have set him up and all that shit.
Yeah, and then also in there he said McDaniel pulled him out because of his wrist, and then they asked him again if it was his wrist, and he said, "Yeah, right, that's right." And so like it was just like I don't know what was going on, but it was just very awkward. I mean, it's on Omar's page if you want to hear the whole thing. We probably won't get hit for that.
No, probably won't get hit for it. I mean, unless there's any other juicy stuff in there, I need to know. You can listen to it if it has.
I mean, it's Tyreek being Tyreek. So let me get it ready. I'll bring it up because it's some stuff that you've already discussed that he's showing signs of that more than what he did before.
Dude's a freaking clown. God. Abel Rodriguez, thank you, sir, on Cash App. Very nice of you, sir. He says, for a stench of manure hovers over these fins today. And for those of you that don't know, the great late Jim Mad Dog Mandich would say it in a broadcast. The stench of manure hovers over this performance today. It's a classic. Thank you, Abel. Vincent Bruno, thank you, sir. Says for this upcoming rant. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Phil Montgomery donating Bitcoin. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you. You know, those are my favorite donations right there. A little Bitcoin action. I like it. All right, what do you got for me? Go ahead.
You injured, or what was the deal with that?
Yeah, man. So all season I've been dealing with, a little issue, and so.
Was it the left wrist that?
Right. So coach kind of pulled me out.
How would you describe this season for you now that it is over?
Oh, season was great, man. I had my daughter, so that's a plus for me. I'm happy. I'm blessed, man.
And when you say coach pulled you out, Mike McDaniel pulled you out because your wrist was injured?
Just one of those issues, man, that when you look up at the scoreboard, Chiefs are, down, and it's like, okay, so.
How do you feel about not getting to 1,000 yards this season?
I mean, it is what it is, man. It's life, man. I feel like at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that, I need to reassess, about, my career and, just see what I need to do, to continue to get better, as a player, so I can continue to reach that 1,000-yard mark. So it is what it is.
What do you think is the biggest reason the team finished 8 and 9?
I would say for me, man, as a captain, it was a tough season, man. It sucks, man, missing QB1, man. It really hurts a lot, man. Not having him, but Snoop did a great job of filling in whenever he learned the offense, getting us going. But whenever you're missing, your franchise player, man, it kind of sucks. So.
As a captain, what was the message you got to these guys in the offseason as we go feel this at the end of the season?
I don't even know, bro. You know, this is my first time I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So, I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, or if that's where.
All right. So opening the door like I'm out. It was great playing here. This is how he repays the people that sacrificed and gave him the extra money for these 2 years. This guy is really an ultimate piece of shit, to be quite honest. You know, this guy is a freaking loser above losers, Tyreek Hill. He's part of the reason why you have failed in many big moments. No accountability whatsoever, dude. Nothing. There's no accountability from Tyreek Hill in anything. This is why I also got in it with a lot of you when he got arrested. I don't defend the stupid cop. His ass should go to jail. But I'm not defending Tyreek's stupid ass for going 60 miles an hour in a time when there's a game. And you don't do that. School zone, game, concert. I mean, you know, stupid people do that. And then you mishandle everything. Why? Because you're a freaking knucklehead, dude. Everything about your life is all, and you look at that right there. Look at that press conference. That's as unprofessional as it gets. That's as disrespectful as it gets. You're going to, I got to do what's best, dog. Bro, you don't catch the ball when you're supposed to. You're a fucking choker. And not only that, his soft ass gets ragdolled all the time. Doesn't talk about that either. You're lucky I can't drop a bomb. You're lucky I'm not allowed to drop a bomb. I'd eviscerate the goddamn place.
Hey, yo.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank Gus 1388, of course, as always, on X. He sends us from Barry Jackson.
What?
McDaniel said he was told by coaches in the fourth quarter, not by medical staff, that Tyreek was unavailable in the fourth quarter.
For a new injury. That's what McDaniel said. It was a new injury. And then they're asking it's the wrist. And yeah. So again, I can't believe anything injury from this staff at all. Nothing. I cannot trust them whatsoever. The way they mishandled Jalen Phillips, there is no, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. What you did to Jalen Phillips is fucking criminal. Fucking criminal. The guy has a repaired Achilles tendon and he injures his knee in the same leg, and your response is to put a brace on it and put him back out there to finish off his leg for the rest of the year? Like, what the? Like what? I don't trust this staff at all. I don't trust this coaching staff when it comes to medicals at all. They have lost all of my trust. And as a gambler, if you're like a big gambler, this is one of the teams that I would least trust about injuries. They are constantly misleading what's going on with their injuries and what's going on with their players. So I know the NFL overall does it in general, but this is the team we cover, right? This is our team. This is the one we talk about, right? So we have to talk about what's going on with this team. And they mislead the public and their own players because they misled Jalen Phillips. I don't give a shit what anybody tells me. None. There was no reason to put his ass back out on the field. None. Zero. So I again, please explain to me how I'm supposed to feel so positive about next year. That I cannot for the life of me figure that shit out. Cannot. Hateful Steve. Hey, you see, wearing those Tua, those sunglasses Tua was wearing all night. What a cool guy. I swear, he looked like I would put him in Boys in the Hood or something like that. He kind of had like that kind of look. But he also had like a pissed off look. And there was a part of me that I wanted to make it a meme and say, this is actually what I look like when Tua keeps doing stupid shit on the field. Because that's kind of the look he had. The look I have when he keeps doing stupid shit on the field, like running into human beings. All right, let's go to the super chats because we got a shit ton of them and we got to catch up. All right, man of 1,005 holds, 4 turnovers and making old Rodgers look like Rodgers of old. Huntley's a jag. Oh, yeah, McDaniel still sucks at challenges. Help. 4 of 19 now. And if, let me tell you something, I bet you it's the same guy doing the challenges. I bet you it's Julian Hill. Next up, let's go. Tom Wilson, thank you for the love on the super chat, sir. Appreciate you. Mateo Dulio, at least we got a higher draft pick. Yeah. Okay. I just hope we could get a fat guy, bro. Get me a defensive tackle, get me a guard, get me something in that first round, and then we can start talking quarterback in the second, third, if there's a youngin that you can invest in. Next up, Ozzie Fisher. McDaniel has to be the most inept coach we've ever had, and we've had some gems. Hopefully the loss shook Ross to the core, but I doubt it. Nah. They're going to go all on the Tua thing. But my problem is if I am Ross, how am I not sitting there with Tua and saying, what are you doing? Right? Like if I was the owner, I'd have a conversation with Tua like, what the fuck is this? I'd replay him running into Hamlin. Well, I'm trying to. No, you're not trying anything. You're fucking up my season. You're fucking up my team. Hey, what's this? And he dives and takes the hit. Well, I'm trying. No, you're fucking up my season. You see how you're injured? I don't know. I know you're a tough guy, but you're not durable. What's this? And just keep playing like all the stupid shit. What's this? What's this? And I'd have it like on a screen that since, it's, I'd have it in the auditorium where he'd meet me. And I'd have it like full. Dolby sound, like super loud collisions, hopefully mic'd up, listen to him go, yeah, all that kind of shit. I don't know. You got to do something. Look at him and say, hey, can you sign your contract like that? I don't know, do something. When we were young, different era, but they used to tell you, oh, so you want to be a delinquent. You want to be a bad person. Oh, let's show you a little movie called Scared Straight. That kind of stuff. And you used to watch Scared Straight. You were like, yeah, I don't want to be a criminal or anything. Yeah, it's not it's probably not a good idea when we get older to try to be They won't do that to you now, but they need to scare straight his ass. I don't know if we have the softest coach in the NFL that instead he says, you're the quarterback of our family. That's Mike McDaniel. Don't worry, Tua. You made another stupid decision with your head. But you're the quarterback of our family. As I've said, you kind of need the old upbringing, right? You fall down, you have a bad fall, they run up to you. Hey, are you all right? Yeah, you're all right. Okay, wham, bop, boom. How stupid can you be trying to do this, that? A second after they asked you if you were all right, Like you thought, like, okay, I screwed up, I whatever. Oh, they came to me to see if I'm all right. And once they see you're all right, you're getting an ass kicking after that. Okay, now that you're all right, we can now kick your ass. That's kind of, you can't really kick his ass, but you can verbally kick his ass. And so I don't know. I'd sit him down and say, hey, I'm looking to make this the new logo of the Dolphins. What do you think? I mean, since you're showing it off all the time, I mean, West Coast has their thing. We're going to have our thing. You want to play this game? You want to play this game? By the way, Steven, you want to hire me? I'll walk in there and I'll be the bad guy. Call me in. I'll be the bad guy. I'll rattle his cage. Go ahead. Call me. Next up. Miami needs a new head coach, GM. McDaniel has had the same issue since year one. No improvement. Greer's been the GM since 16. Time for new blood there. Has to have accountability for not being able to find the right coach. Can't argue with it. Thank you, Vinny. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. AZ, thank you, sir. Thanks for the content this season. Appreciate you. Man of 1,005 holds. The Miami stuck in the middle Dolphins. There's no doubt about that. That's who we are. That's who we'll be forever. Tom Wilson, Fins fan 5 decades, still a Fins fan. Of course, we're gonna die it. We'll still be a Fins fan long after this group is long gone. Big O, thanks for the fun and facts. Till next year. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Tom. Thank you for supporting the platform. Mattel Dulio, we are screwed with all the bad contracts. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, God, you guys are going to kill me for this. Some of you will. Oh, man. I'm about to do something really dangerous. Hopium. Okay. There's no hopium because of the coach. But if you had a coach, okay? Listen to me. If you had a coach, and if Tua took his head out of his culo and played like he played last year, where get rid of the football, stay away from contact, and you'll be fine, okay? The team's actually not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. You have your 2 tackles. You have a swing tackle. You have your center. You need your guards. Well, you have draft picks and you have some cap space. You'll be able to work around. Okay. You have your pass rushers. You're going to get Chubb back. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to get Phillips back. Chop look really good. Then you could sign a guy like Agba back. You've got Sealer. You need another fat man in the middle next to him. You're not so bad off. Okay. It's just the circumstances make it look worse than it is because you need a real coach to kind of get coached out of all of this stuff. McDaniel's not the guy. So there's no light at the end of the tunnel. But roster-wise, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's actually very doable to fix most of it. If you had a really good coach, he would elevate it. But, and again, Tua has to get his head out of his ass. Those are the two things. But if I look at the roster construction, there's a lot of foundation. I got Brooks. I need another middle linebacker. I got Sealer. I need another defensive tackle. I got my tackles. I got my center. I need the guards. Okay? These things can be acquired. They can. These guys find talent. Look at the freaking linebacker again. Had another terrific week. A guy they found completely off the street. Maybe he becomes an addition to this defense. I don't know. But they'll find guys. They can do it. But the problem is we have no chef. And if we don't have a chef, it doesn't matter, dude. You know what I mean? You could give me all the ingredients. I suck at cooking. Let's go. Next up. In the locker room, on the sidelines, that's where McDaniel sucks. Phil Montgomery, a clueless coach, a dumbass QB, and a visionless hack who has survived in the NFL by blaming his mistakes on others. I'll give you the Miami Dolphins. I can't wait for more disappointment in 2025. Damn, Phil, that sounds so painful. I'm sorry, my brother. Hang in there, man. Freaking sucks. And thank you, sir, for the support. Next up. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And we tell you that because we keep 100% of it on Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. Here we get 70%. Clee Torres. I'm 58-2, Big O, native Miamian. I am done with this streaming pile of shit. Greer is worthless. McFailure is a fraud. The owner is the biggest sports buffoon. No more. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you lose people along the way. As they get older, they get tired of it, man. They get tired of going through the same shit every year. All these fans that travel all the time and spend a lot of money, man, they got to get tired of doing this too. And tired of the get-togethers and all that. And it's like, man, you want an end game to this, Sucks. Go ahead. Next up. It is Edward Thurston. How Big O, the Dolphins will need to do big changes on the defense next year. Let's go. Let go of high-priced Armstead. We need a lot of money for free agency. Well, with Chubb and Armstead, you're going to free up $40 million right there. Okay, so you're the cap will go up another 10, 15. Dude, I told you guys, I think I told you this 2 years ago, right, Sean? That next year will be all right, and the year after will be all right. And then last year, remember, the cap crisis. And there's no cap crisis. They didn't even have to even go into the Tyreek money to sign on, and they did everything they needed. And I told you they'll be able to pull it off again this year, didn't I? And I've told you ahead of time because, again, the drama is going to, oh, my God, the cap crisis. The problem is not the cap right now. It'll be the following year. And I told you that. I told you in 26 is when it really starts to shit that hits the fan and it's really bad and all that. The real problem is it doesn't matter what the front office tries to do if the head coach doesn't know what to do. And then the other side of it, by the way, if they're gonna stay status quo, Frank Smith should become the play caller, at least to give me not hope, but okay, it's a change. Maybe I'll see difference in results. You know what I'm saying? That I'll give it a chance there. But if I see, the doofus on the sidelines, yeah, we're done. Next up, Sean. It is Giovanni. Thank you, sir. Maybe this is the real Dolphins. Oh, a crap franchise. Been more crappy than good. We are dinosaurs and fossils like dinosaurs. Great Dolphins are extinct. Sad to say. Yeah. And that certainly describes me, that's for sure. Next up, thank you, Giovanni. Appreciate you. George, what is it? Filosa. George Filosa, thank you, sir, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Again, Filosa, what are your thoughts on Ross as an owner? It's a two-edged sword. He's a fantastic owner because he'll spend and do whatever, but he has failed because he can't put the right combination together to win it all. And right now, there's nothing to brag about because it's a failure of everything that's going on, unfortunately. It sucks, dude. Appreciate you, sir. Next up, it is Adam. Is Ross addicted to being mediocre or what? It's got to be frustrating as hell not to be able to put together the right combinations and not win and have all that money. Because he succeeds with the real estate. He succeeds with the stadium. I mean, Jesus Christ, that property has Jazz in the Gardens. It has damn, what's the name of the big rap festival now? That is one of the, I believe it's one of the 5 biggest rap festivals in the world now.
They're Rolling Loud.
Rolling Loud. It's got the tennis tournament. It's got the F1 race. It's got the practice facility on there. You know, they'll bring you Cirque du Soleil. It's got a goddamn gondola. So you can go from one place to another in the damn parking lot. It's got a hospital on it. I mean, I don't know. The roof I thought was kind of a goofy idea. It actually ends up great vision by Garfinkel. It looks phenomenal. The bridges and tunnels and everything, the club suites and everything, like it's really an absolutely fantastic facility now. Really is. He's magnificent as an owner in that sense. But he's judged by one thing, and he has failed there. So, yeah. And listen, can Moss do anything else? No. Messi didn't do it. Messi didn't get it done. I can't blame the Moss family in that sense, right? It's a little different there, right? Everything was in place. The owner did everything. He put together the greatest team that MLS has ever had, and the players failed. Can't blame the owner there. Now, in this case, you can blame the owner. Even though it's very Dolphin-like what Inter did, choking in the first round against the worst team in the Eastern Conference. It's pretty bad. It's very Dolphin-like. But I'm not going to blame Moss. Not even close. Are you kidding me? I'm praise to Moss. His crazy ass put it together. Now, you know, I don't know if they're really doing all the right things there. I think they're playing more fantasy soccer, but shit, spending a lot of money. Next up, Sean there. What do you got? Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. And you can also make a donation through PayPal too, which we always appreciate that. Thank you all out there. Andrew Watson, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Agree with everything, Big O. Ross and McD, the equivalent of Cheech and Chong in Up in Smoke. Yes, there we go. At age 50, I'm considering completely giving up on this team and finding a new hobby. As an investor, you know, there needs to be a return on investments. Yep. And thank God for this, Andrew, because this is what makes my Dolphins season much better, because this is the real team that I follow right now. The Dolphins are just heartache. It's the Panthers, and that's it, dude. Nothing else, because Inter Miami ended up breaking my heart. So, yeah, it sucks, man. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate your support. Next up, it is the Great Fear. Thanks for another season. You're the best. Why do you like Greer? He chose McD and has seen him regress and still extended him and Tyreek. He was okay with Skylar as a backup. Oh, well, let's Bitcoin and live shows in 2025. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think personnel-wise, this has kind of been our best group that we've had in forever. But, guys, I can't defend them. So every one of you that wants him fired, I can't say you're wrong. I can disagree with you and say you're wrong about Tua not being a player. He can play. Now, the way he wants to go about it, he has no future, because forget about it. You know, we can have a discussion about him as a passer, and I could disagree with you on it. But as much as I like, you know, McKenzie and Greer and Allen, those all three of them, I think they're fantastic. They have screwed it up with the coaches. And the Skylar thing, you're 1,000% right. They needed a better backup. The whole story for the backup has not been told. So I'm just going to say that the story has kind of been unfair to them on the backup. But bottom line, they failed. They didn't get the backup, or they listened to this dude who thought Skylar could play, or he can make him a player, and that's where it falls on them. So I have nothing to stand on, as much as I like the guy. So every one of you out there that want him fired, I totally understand. Okay. I disagree. I wouldn't. I would actually get a new coach and kind of move forward like a Vrabel. I would have done it already, but that's just me. You know, I'm a little different than the average bear. I make moves a little bit ahead of time than everybody else. And so, you know, but I can't argue with any of you guys that want changes. I'm just telling you, sadly, they're not going to make any changes. You know, so whatever change you want to make, like I don't like the coach and I want the coach change, it's not going to happen. You know, that's the part that sucks. Next up. What do we have there? We have no doubt. My 6-year-old daughter asked me if the Fins had a plan to win today. I told her yes. I knew I was lying, though. As always, Fins up. Yeah, that's a no doubt. There's a double whammy on you. You're lying to your kid, and you've made them a Dolphins fan. That's pretty abusive. Yeah. We could call child services on you, no doubt, for that. Next up, thank you, sir, by the way, for the super chat. George G, I wouldn't trust McDaniel to run a taco stand in Tijuana, although that sounds kind of fun. But Weaver hasn't shown us enough to be considered head coach material. Defense was good last year. Okay, but wait a minute, George G. But if I tell you, okay, we need to move forward with Weaver, or you're staying with, they're going with McDaniel. They're not changing. They're keeping McD. Okay, so they're keeping him. Would you, just for shits and giggles, for next year, would you rather keep McD or would you rather take a chance on Weaver? Take a chance. Next up, the great fear is back because he is fearful. Couldn't agree with you more on Weaver and Campbell and thought the same thing. As a Fins fan, I'm so embarrassed that those guys will probably be out instead of McD, Crossman, etc. We're just incompetent. Yeah, the Crossman thing. How do I get that you can't control the coach staff, but again, there's another problem. Okay. So what happened here in the Colts land? Are they coming back as we close out the season? I can't tell you how disappointed I am. Felt today. It's a high standard city. Yada yada yada. I compete just being on the doorstep. Believe me, more than anything was painful. Is he?
What I read, both are coming back.
Huh?
Ballard and Steichen are both coming back.
Okay. All right. Okay. It's not a job that's open for Weaver. Okay. All right. Next up. It is Ohio John. Thank you, sir. Hope you and your lovely wife are having a great time not watching the Dolphin season. Let's see. Ohio, because watching you guys aren't having a good time. But maybe when you're away from the Dolphins, you're having a good time. Damn, Tyreek giving me, Brandon Marshall vibes. Yeah, it's very Brandon Marshall-esque. Very good comparison. Okay, the difference is he doesn't get stabbed. He breaks IG model's legs. Allegedly, I'm sorry. Next up, thank you, Ohio John. Appreciate you. Kickback. Broken franchise. No fixing this without a complete overhaul at GM and head coach positions. Greer can't be allowed back in the building. 20 years of failure. Thank you, Kickback. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for supporting the show. Next up. It is True Fin Fan, Jimmy Butler, and Tyreek Hill. Same player. Yeah. Well, actually, no. I got to say, Jimmy Butler has produced in big moments. No, I disagree on that one. I wholeheartedly disagree on that one. Actually, True Fin Fan. Love you on that one. I love you overall, but no. Jimmy has come up big in big moments. A lot of times for the Heat early on. So I can't put him and Tyreek anywhere near the same place. No, Jimmy's produced and in big moments, changing games all by himself. I'm not. But they're both problem childs right now. Yes, I get that, but no, I'm gonna give Jimmy the due he deserves. Tyreek has never done what Jimmy did down here. Not even close. Oh, God, no way. All right, here we go. The Perk Man is ready to go with our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report.
Time to go to the locker room, Miami Dolphins fans. Let's find out what's percolating with the one and only Chris Perkins in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report.
All right, Perk. So Dolphins, right? It was a Dolphins-like ending to the season, pretty much.
Yeah, this is just bad. They have the chance to win. They needed to win. As it turned out, it wouldn't have mattered because Denver kicked Kansas City's butt. But at least show up, right? At least show up. And then you have this mess with Tyreek at the end of the game. Look, Big O, I thought last year was the worst way you could end the season when they had Chris Jones in their locker room laughing. Visiting him and Tamba Ali are in there visiting with Justin Houston after the Dolphins get their butt kicked, and Chris Jones, showing no respect for the Dolphins, goes in their locker room and is visiting with another player. I've never seen that ever. This is right up there with it. You get your butt kicked, and Tyreek is complaining about, did he take himself out of the game? Is this wrist injury? And do you want to be here? Well, I'm out. What does that mean, Tyreek? This place needs a culture change, Big O. We've been saying this for
not only that, he says opening the door like I'm out. It was good to play here. He's not, right. And this is the same guy that a week ago. No, I'm in a great place, man. The Dolphins have, taken care of me and all,
right, and my family, and right. They changed my life. Yeah, all right, whatever.
It's just a head case. And by the way, he's been a disaster. Like somebody said, oh, Butler and Tyreek, and I said, no, dude, no, I'm not doing that right now. Mm-hmm. I know the Butler thing is sour now, but Butler balled out, bro. He gave you more than your money's worth and showed up in big moments. Tyreek actually has played small in big moments for the Dolphins. He has not come through. Yeah, he's come through with the stats, but not really the big moments like Jimmy. That's where I would not compare the two, actually. I'm going to give Jimmy his love for what he did for the Heat. Now, with Tyreek, it's always about everything else. There is no accountability on his part, dude, in anything.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was just last week, I was having conversations with a couple of Dolphins people about Tyreek and, his leadership. And this person was trying to tell me, well, cut him some slack, and he practices hard and he plays hard. And I was like, yeah, I don't doubt that. But it's all the other stuff that this team needs more from him. And he doesn't deliver. He doesn't care. He's all about Tyreek, which, that's fine if you're out there winning Super Bowls and stuff. But when you're struggling just to make the playoffs and you can't even win a playoff game, you need to change your ways because your team needs more from you. You've got to go above and beyond what you did in Kansas City, where there were tons of leaders. You could do your own thing. This situation is different, and he doesn't recognize that. What do you do going forward? I don't know. I fear what this locker room is going to look like next year when Calais and Teron aren't here.
Well, I'll tell you something. I saw this picture. Pull it up again, Sean. Let's show. I'm sure you saw it, or maybe you were on your way down or something at that moment. But on the sidelines, here's Weaver and Calais, hugging. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking Weaver is going to end up as a head coach somewhere. And Calais is going to say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to play one more year, and I'm going to go play for that guy right there. Because I love the team, dude. But you know me, I don't play this shit. I call it like I see it. If you're Anthony Weaver, you got to look around and go, I'm a better coach than the guy that's my boss.
Yeah.
I deserve a head coaching job. I got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? If I'm Calais Campbell, I wanted to give it a go, come to Miami, but this place is not, Tyreek's a disaster. The quarterback thinks he's, Debo Samuel and shit, this place, I got to get out of here. So you haven't created a culture that actually people want to be a part of. You know what I mean? And to me, I think you have created a situation that people want to run away from, because the other thing is Weaver's got to say to himself, this guy has got to be going into a hot seat year next year. What am I doing here? Let me get the F out of here and get this off my resume.
Yeah, you know what? The Weaver's got to be careful. You don't want to just take any job, right? I know there's only 32 of them, but you don't want this Jets job, do you?
Not Carolina or the Jets. You don't, right?
I mean, look at what happened to Steve Wilkes at Arizona. He was one and done. You can't get yourself into a bad situation. So, that myth about there's only 32.
Dude, the Bidwells. That's a great call on your part too.
Right. I mean. Right, you ruined your career. But yeah, your point is well taken with Weave, though. And him and Calais knew each other from their time together in Baltimore, so they knew what each other was about. Yeah, I think Weave and Fangio also probably looked around and said, "Dude, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm wasting my career. They're wasting talent. They're letting the inmates run the asylum here. It makes no sense." And so I'll be very interested to see what Anthony Weaver does next year. He's obviously they're out of the playoffs, so he's eligible to start being interviewed immediately. And so we'll see what happens. What we know, Jacksonville will probably come up. Chicago will be up. The Jets is up. Who just got fired today? New England, Mayo.
They're
so there's a lot. There's going to be some good jobs. Some jobs available. I don't know how many are good, but yeah, we will get some interviews. But bottom line, he'll get.
They're going to get my guy Vrabel. New England is going to.
Yeah, New England. Yeah. That's what makes the most sense, right? Yeah, you get rid of Mayo and you keep it in house. You keep it in the family, in the Patriots family. Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Yeah. They got a high pick. They've got a young quarterback.
Yep.
He knows the division, all that kind of stuff. They'll back him, Plus, he's freaking phenomenal, dude. I love Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you got now that they've got the quarterback, or they think they do, you have the option of trading that pick and really loading up. You don't need a quarterback, so you've got some options there for a good coach.
All right, so some of our listeners, especially Hateful Steve, picked up on something you said.
Mm-hmm.
And so apparently in your show, you basically didn't blame Tua for his injuries, and kind of the way you phrased it, that I don't blame Tua for for being a football player, this, that. Do you really not blame Tua for being in the situation he's in, because he is not a durable player and he continues to do things that seek contact? He has basically brought everything upon himself. And by the way, the press conference 2 days ago was super disturbing. 3 days ago.
Friday.
How ignorant. I mean, the injury, did you see the information Rappaport got? That's clearly the team letting that information out, because the agent's not going to do that on his own player. So the player saying, "Oh, for sure, I'm going to play next week," and then they let out this information that the muscle injury and this and that, and it's like, yo, dude. So, how much blame do you put on Tua? Because I put almost all of it on Tua.
Yeah, listen, Tua was the Houston thing where he said he should have thrown it to Jonnu Smith. Look, he's trying to play football, and again, yes, he's fragile. We know that. He should know that. But that's not a crazy play. Running headfirst into Damar Hamlin is not a crazy play. You get that sack or take that hit against San Francisco. There was nothing he could do about that. Again, I consider a crazy play diving at somebody's knees to make a tackle after an interception. That's a crazy play. But
think about this. Breeze, Brady, Manning, Marino, they didn't even do those kind of plays. They didn't run into Hamlin. They didn't try to tackle anybody. They didn't dive head first, unless it was like an AFC championship game or a Super Bowl that, oh my God, everything's on the line. Then maybe you might get Marino to do some crazy. I remember, I do have a memory bank where I do remember Marino doing some dive, and we all like held our collective breaths like, no, don't do this. Oh God, he survived. It was one of those things. It's part of that. These guys that are statues played like statues. They didn't do anything. The only thing that Brady could do that now you can't do with Tua with all the stupid concussions now is you can't even run quarterback sneaks with the kid anymore.
Right.
Yeah, that you can't do.
Right.
Outside of that, all those guys didn't do any of that either, bro. None of it.
Yeah, listen, I don't think that, Tua doesn't normally play in that fashion, right? I mean, the ways that he's gotten hurt hasn't been like he's out of the pocket trying to extend plays. He's held the ball too long on pass plays, on drop back plays, on plays in the pocket. Yes, the Houston one he was, yes. But
no, baby, against Mississippi, and two fat guys land on him and blow out his hip. He's outside of the pocket.
I'm not even going back to college. I'm not going back to college. I'm just talking about NFL and really the plays under McDaniel, not even the Flores era. This year.
I'm talking habitual. This is habitual.
Okay, well, I'll say this: none of the injuries in the McDaniel era, except for the Houston game, were something that you could look back and say, yeah, right. I mean, the Matt Milano shoved him. He got ragdolled against Cincinnati. He got tackled from behind against Green Bay. None of that was crazy.
The Green Bay one happened at 5.1 seconds. His two ankle injuries.
He's held the ball too long, right? That's what I said. He's held the ball too long.
That year, the two concussions, not the Bills, the two concussions, the hip, and the two surgeries for his ankle all happened between 3.85 and 5.1 seconds. I timed it a couple of years ago. It was kind of my example when everybody was saying he's got to retire. I said, no, he doesn't have to retire. He has to learn how to play the game where he just gets rid of the football and get away. And that's what he did last year. No contact.
Yes.
No going into DeMar Hamlin. No diving head first. No chasing anybody that gets an interception. When you're unathletic, like Marino, like Manning, like Brady, like Breeze, like Tua, when you're unathletic, it's
he had a couple of runs last year, like 10 or 11 yard runs, but he didn't get hit. But I don't consider those stupid plays. He was out of the pocket. It's the same thing. Like, he didn't get hit. It's the same thing as Houston. He didn't get hit.
No, these are seeking contact. The other ones weren't. When you have wide open space, you take 5-10 yards, you slide, and you come back to the pocket, and you live for the next day. But when you're putting a shoulder into somebody, or your dumbass is trying to tackle somebody, or you're diving, it makes absolutely no sense. And so here's the thing. I think the kid can pass. I have no problem with him as a passer. But if he continues at this pace, he has no future whatsoever in Miami. He will be out of the league in the next 2 or 3 years because of the injuries.
Yeah, well, I think that'll that might happen anyway. And it's not, again, to me, it's not so much trying to be a football player, as you say. He's just kind of frail and brittle. Again, the Matt Milano, the Cincinnati, the Green Bay, those are plays that happen to quarterbacks. It was like Snoop getting hurt against Indianapolis. That's just stuff that happens to a quarterback. He fell wrong. Snoop with the shoulder injury.
Oh, no, he held. No, that was a stupid play on Snoop. He held it all the way to the sideline and gave the guy a chance to take his ass out. It's dumb football.
But holding the ball is different. That's not like you're saying. Like running into DeMar Hamlin, that's different than holding the ball. Holding the ball too long is being a quarterback. Trying to run into somebody is...
No, we disagree. I say you avoid contact. Contact is not seeking it, and get rid of the ball. You don't hold the ball for no reason at all and wait to take a hit. He did that. He did his own sideline play when he recently came back. He did that stupid play also and took a hit for no reason. Nothing happened, but it was like, yo, dude, don't you ever learn? And it's just that's the scary part. I don't think he learns.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, you're not going to get me to steadfastly defend anybody in this organization, whether it's Tua or Greer or McDaniel. Okay, so they all do some things that aren't smart. But Tua, look, Tua is he's brittle. There are things that he needs to do. Yes, I would agree with you to try to extend his career. But the ways that he's gotten hurt, it just does not bode well for longevity. If you can't run into somebody as innocently as he did Damar Hamlin and not be sidelined for weeks, you might not be right for this league. You might need to find another line of work.
All right. Go ahead. What are you saying?
No, I was going to say, because I didn't think that was I know we probably disagree on that, but I didn't think that was a vicious hit by Tua, like running into DeMar. Dudes do that all the time. Like, you ought to be able to. I know. We're not going to agree, but we agree on the outcome. But yeah.
Yeah. Now he learned his lesson. That you're not the guy.
We hope that he learned his lesson. Yeah. I would agree with you on that. Hope.
All right, Perks. So the story that came out from CBS, for me, made no sense whatsoever. Look, if somebody's going to get fired, I am not sure. I don't think anybody's getting fired, to be quite honest. I don't think Greer, Allen McKenzie are getting fired, and I don't think McDaniel's getting fired. I think they're coming back with them, everybody. But retirement sounds ridiculous because when you just signed a brand new deal, it's a multi-year deal, nobody walks away from guaranteed money. So where do you stand on this? What's your prediction right now? Are they staying status quo and everybody's coming back? Is that what you think is going to end up happening?
That's what I think is going to end up happening. As I've written, I wouldn't have extended Tua. I'd have had him play this season on the 5th-year option. If it didn't work out, like it hasn't, I'd have taken the broom to all of them, Greer, McDaniel, and Tua. But now you're financially married to Tua. You've got to keep the guy who gets the best out of Tua, which is Mike McDaniel. And Mike McDaniel will throw an adult temper tantrum if he hears you're trying to get rid of Chris Greer. The adult temper tantrum that he threw when he heard Calais Campbell might be leaving. I think they're all so tied together that I think you invite dysfunction if you get rid of Greer and bring somebody else in over McDaniel, because what you would want ideally is somebody who will disagree with Mike McDaniel, right? Again, if Mike McDaniel says, I want more speed, you want your GM to say, no, we're getting a beefy offensive lineman and a beefy defensive lineman. Right. But now you're going to have the organization picking sides like you had with Don Aponte and Mike Tannenbaum and Jeff Ireland. And it's going to be
Rick Spielman and Wanstead.
Yes, right. It's going to be, do you support McDaniel or do you support the GM? And so to keep that dysfunction out, I would have Tua and McDaniel and Greer just stay on a 1-year make good thing. If you guys can win a playoff game, I'll think about keeping you. But if you don't, you're all 3 out, all of you, with no questions asked. That's where I think we're at with this thing. I wouldn't break them up.
All right. By the way, EJD Construction, Eric does phenomenal work. Been at this for 20 years. AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau. Call him 305-433-4843. Custom home construction, major home remodeling. They're fully insured, liability and workers' comp. Never hire anybody that isn't fully insured. So that way, if anything happens in your home, they're not suing you. So hire responsible people. We would only have responsible people on this platform, and that's Eric. 305-433-4843. So what is the big move that is the shocker? What's the prediction? What do you think happens to the Dolphins? What is it what happens here? Do they lose Weaver? Do they make a change? Do they fire Crossman? I say you make Frank Smith the offensive coordinator. Make him
you know what? I mean, you've got to have, somebody's got to talk to Mike McDaniel. A candid a candid conversation. And I don't know how that happens when Chris Greer is the guy who's right above him, and Chris Greer is basically a yes man to the head coach, to Mike McDaniel. But you've got to find a brand new offense for next year, Big O, right? You're definitely not going to come back with the same one you had in 2022 and 2023, throwing deep to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. You can't come back with this dink and dunk thing. So you've got to come up with a whole new offense, Mike McDaniel, somehow. But somebody's got to talk to McDaniel and tell him we need a well-rounded offense, Mike. We can't just rely on the passing game. That's one thing. Somebody's got to talk to Mike and say we've got to end this player empowerment thing, that you can't let Tyreek do whatever the hell he wants. Somebody's got to talk to Mike and let him know all of these things, that things have got to change around here because you aren't maximizing the talent on your roster. So to me, as far as a big move, I think a lot of your top people, Tom Garfinkel, Chris Greer, Reggie McKenzie, Marvin Allen, Mike McDaniel, back in the same spot. Is somebody going to grow a pair and be able to have these candid conversations with Mike McDaniel and tell him, dude, you've got to make some changes or you're going to be out on your ass and you're going to be regretting how you let all this great talent add up to no playoff wins. I think that's got to be the big change. Somebody in that organization has got to sit Mike down and say, man, you've got to make some changes because you're wasting all this talent. You're leaving way too much meat on the bone.
Follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk, and make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Perk, as always, thank you, my brother. Excellent season, sir. Appreciate your service. We will catch up down the line, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Happy New Year, Big O. Talk to you, man.
There you go. Chris Perkins, baby. EJD Construction, 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report with the Sun Sentinel's Chris Perkins. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Also on PayPal, you'll see the QR codes there. Peter German says, for such a smart man, how can Ross be so stupid about the way he runs the team? He has tampered, mismanaging, and been loyal to a fault. Maybe he should stop following Tua's lead and recognize his faults and weaknesses. On a positive note, love watching Chop and Malik Washington. Yeah, no, there's some young guys. You picked up a linebacker off the street that looks like it's something, I know Storm had a rough one today, but he's a youngin', man. He's got to grow. Ray Martinez, thank you, sir, again for the love on Venmo. He says, frustrated and disappointed today. 2025 will either be a success or a fraud, even though you may fix or add certain players in the offseason. But for the 2025 season with this same coach would be a question mark. But we always support the team. Thank you, sir. As always, appreciate it. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Manuel Castillo on Cash App. Thank you, sir. Says Big O, what are your feelings on our QB room? They have none. It's Tua, and that's it. They need to go draft somebody, and they need to get a veteran. Because it ain't Snoop. You people were falling for the banana and tailpipe in Snoop Huntley last week. Shame on you. Let's get to our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins post-game report.
All rise, football fans. As the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
Is locked and loaded and ready to go. Jacket and on, looking fresh. How you feeling? The season's over finally, huh? No, you don't have to push the hopium anymore. Good for you.
That's right. That's right. Hey, but it came down to the final season with all the hopium. But the hopium was gone very quickly today, as it was clear 7-0 became 14-0 and 21-0 in that Chiefs Broncos game. It didn't matter. I basically stopped paying attention to the game. I just relaxed. I got my stories up quickly, and then just said, all right, let me get my questions ready for post game, and let's pack it in.
So Tyreek has been a horse's ass from day one. He has done all kinds of stupid shit here, off the field, on the field, all of that. Hasn't really come through in big moments too, and is always quick to complain. Never really a guy that takes accountability. And I thought today again was another page in Tyreek's soap opera with this team. They didn't have to give him that money in the offseason, and that front office made a huge mistake, which, by the way, I know I was very alone on that island, and I said, do not give him money. Do not guarantee him anymore. Let him leave after this season. And most everybody wanted him back, and look what we got now. What do you do with this mess? Because I don't know if the dude knows, but he's untradeable right now. I don't know if he knows this, but he's untradeable. Okay? Like, it's funny to watch the Jimmy Butlers of the world. Like, let me approach the worst way possible to try to create a trade and create value for myself. Here, this is what I'll do. And here's this moron the same way. Let me just about kill my value and kill what's going on with the team. So talk to me about this mess.
Yeah, I don't know what price teams are willing to pay. Not only that, I mean, the Dolphins, it results in what's the number, $28.297 million of dead money in 2025, trading pre-June 1 Tyreek Hill. But what team also is going to offer anything of value at this time when Tyreek Hill is at his lowest, now going into his 30s, and just had his first non-Pro Bowl season? I mean, I'm sure, yes, still talented, of course, can do some things, but even then, not coming through in big moments. And then now you see the distractions that he can create, where he lets his frustrations out as a season comes to an end, and basically puts the word out there that he doesn't want to be here anymore. So, and it's to the organization. They are you reap what you sow, and they're getting hit with now the penalties of what happens when you just try to make everyone happy, and you go and Tua, you get your contract guarantee, and Jalen Waddle got his contract active very early in the season, and then you go ahead and give Tyreek Hill what he wants, because he said he wanted his guarantees so much. So, and also there's a statement that the Dolphins just released. So.
Yes, Stephen Ross says, I want to thank the players and coaches for their hard work throughout the 2024 season, as well as the fans for their support. As the owner of this team, I am ultimately accountable for our successes and failure. We fell short of our expectations this season, and I understand and share in the frustrations in our performance on the field. As we now look towards 2025, our football operations will continue to be led by Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel with my full support. Okay? Their positive working relationship is an asset to the Dolphins. And I believe in the value of stability. We'll continue to have that goofball on the sidelines fucking up every goddamn challenge. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. However, continuity in leadership is not to be confused with the acceptance that the status quo is good enough. No shit. I've been seeing it for 40 years, Stephen. Again, edited. We will take a hard look at where we have fallen short, like fucking everywhere, and make the necessary changes to deliver our ultimate goal of building and sustaining a winning team that competes for a championship. Okay?
All right, you added some things into that quote, just to be clear. So some of it was Big O talking.
And I also added yesterday that it was a load of fucking shit that Chris Greer was going to retire. That was a load of shit. Okay? I got nothing against Jonathan Jones from CBS. He was a fine receiver in his own right and all that good stuff. I know he tried to play an insider there on CBS. I got more insight on the Dolphins than he would ever have in his entire fucking life. Okay? The biggest joke in the building was they just signed multi-year deals. How are they walking away from guaranteed money? Like in the building, they're laughing, literally laughing at that report. Literally laughing. Like, who walks away from guaranteed money? Seriously, where do people come up with these stories? And I get it, bro. You're in the media, so you don't really want to, me, I'm in the media, but I don't give a fuck. And I will step on anybody's toes and crush the fucking toes if I have to. Why? If you're going to put out bullshit misinformation, I'm going to fucking crush that misinformation. If it's the team that I know about better than anybody on CBS combined, I'll tell it. Okay? That's some stupid shit that's put out there that, he's going to retire. Bro, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, what I remember when I read it, I could kind of tell the way it was worded because, sometimes when I'm writing a report, I have to make sure I word myself carefully. And I could tell when the report worded whatever it said, popular rumor going around, he was indicating in his report that it's not that this is direct knowledge of what's going on in the Dolphins camp. It's that people around the league are talking, and this is a rumor that others that he really does talk to are saying what might be happening. But those sources probably definitely didn't have the true knowledge of what's actually going on behind Dolphins doors. So I think that much came to light. But I could tell he was saying there was rumors going around that a lot of people were talking this might happen. But how they got that information, who knows?
It's not information. They got misinformation.
Or that misinformation. Correct. Right.
Misinformation that they put out there because that's some bogus. That's some competing GM or pissed off agent or something just throwing it out there, and he just took the bait and ran with it when there was like, bro, use common sense. They just all signed contracts. Every one of them. Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer, Reggie McKenzie, Marvin out, they all have brand new multi-year deals. They're not firing them because that's millions of dollars that you're just going to flush down the toilet. And then on top of the contracts and all that shit. And so all of a sudden, Chris Greer, out of the greatness of his heart, is going to walk away. He's going to retire. He's going to move on to greener pastures or something. The shit that is out there is just amazing to me. So, how do you handle this Tyreek mess? What do you do?
How do I handle this Tyreek mess? You basically gotta make it work. So Mike McDaniel in his comments sort of made it like, okay, I'm not gonna think too much about what he expressed moments after a season ended, and it's been a frustrating season, and now the finality of it finally has hit everyone, and there is no more hope, no more hopium going around in the locker room. So I basically take it as probably Mike McDaniel hears a lot of bullshit from Tyreek Hill, and then the next day comes around and Tyreek is all good. So maybe a little bipolar in that sense.
I can only phrase it this way: you have no idea. But go ahead.
Yeah. So
I'm just sorry, but you have no idea.
Of what? Of how much bullshit is involved with Tyreek? Oh, right.
You have no idea. You have no idea the bombs that have been dropped inside that building, and you guys have not found out about it.
Okay, there are some things that I can't even imagine.
This is kind of like when I gave the fair shot warnings of, hey, Flo is running roughshod through the building and all that kind of stuff, and then it kind of then got out. Same thing here. Some of the things that people don't realize that go on behind there, and it hasn't come out yet, but it's just it's interesting how you deal with this guy and all the shit that goes on a consistent basis. It is a soap opera of all soap operas.
Yeah, it really is. And then now kind of just peaking at this moment. So, but they got a long off season, a lot of months to do whatever, say whatever they need to communicate. And Mike McDaniel seemed to be a calming voice in this and saying, kind of like, I have some experience in dealing with this. And now it's going to come down to some conversations that'll go down over a lot of months to come. So, but he's really an untradeable asset right now. And it's kind of like you got to make it work, unless it's just there is no end in sight, and it does come down to that. But aside from that, you just got to make it work.
Well, yeah. Well, how do you make something work when that person refuses to make it work? That's the problem here, I think.
And therein lies the problem, and why it's just not a good situation overall.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
What else can you say?
All right, and backup quarterback, where are you now? Because we had some people drinking the Snoop Huntley Kool-Aid last week. Like, look, bro, they either need to draft somebody, I believe, in the second, third rounds. If there's somebody that's doable there, I would draft somebody. But you also got to get yourself a veteran, because you cannot trust Tua. And by the way, they know they can no longer trust Tua. They're super frustrated with that.
Yeah. Backup quarterback becomes the roster priority. I mean, now we do have clear. All right, you can check some things off the list. Like, all right, McDaniel and Greer coming back. Stephen Ross released a statement right away, and we kind of figured it was going that way. We had been saying as much on this program, as much as a lot of people might want one or the other. You definitely are high on getting rid of McDaniel.
I would have fired him on the Indie game. That's what I would have gone after Vrabel, and I would have hired him. Or let me tell you something. They're about. I think they're going to lose Weaver. I'm pretty sure.
He's a hot head coaching name.
If I'm Weaver, I'm standing there going, bro, I'm better than this guy. I didn't need a job. I'd rather have Weaver than McDaniel.
Yeah, and well, therein lies an issue. And I remember it was said kind of among some in the media, sort of indicating or feeling, well, is Mike McDaniel hiring someone that could supplant him one day, like with the foresight of, if this season goes awry and Mike McDaniel does not lead the team to the heights that it aspires to, and Anthony Weaver looks like a great hot head coaching commodity, then boy, you might be in a situation where you have a bigger candidate for a head coaching job as your defensive coordinator under you than you yourself. But I know his name was thrown out there by Diana Rossini with the Bears, and will definitely be around a lot. So the Bears are definitely doing their homework on Anthony Weaver, and I expect a lot of interviews to get lined up for him.
Well, it's so Dolphins, right? Because what's the name? Not that I like him, but he was here as an assistant coach. Not that he was hired, but the Cincinnati head coach. What's his name?
Yeah, Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor. Okay. Yeah. Then we've got Dan Campbell, right? Who was here as an interim guy, wasn't hired. Again, that wasn't the right time to hire him anyway. He's back with Sean Payton. Learn and look, by the way, Sean has done a marvelous job, with the Denver Broncos. The offensive coordinator that Dan Campbell has is going to get a head coaching job, and he's a guy that was here as an assistant coach. I mean, it's funny how they never hire the right head coach, right? But like other people that have come through the organization, come and gone, they go on to have success in other places. You know what I mean? It's the weirdest shit, dude. It really is. It's fun.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Ben Johnson with the Lions. Yeah, he was in, right? Yeah, I actually didn't even realize that until the other day when, because it was before my time on the beat. But just his connection to the Dolphins. We know Zach Taylor and a lot of others. And I mean, coaches go, move around the league. So any coach, you look up their resume, there's going to be multiple spots that they went to. Like, if a bunch of people, Mike McDaniel was just hired. Darren Rizzi, of course.
Darren Rizzi's be
as an
candidate. Yeah, and he's going to be a candidate for head coaching jobs. Hell, if not, please bring him back here to be the special teams coach, assistant head coach. Please bring him here. That's that's one change that I knew you weren't going to make a changes at the top, but if there's a couple changes I'd like to make, Danny Crossman is one, and the other one is I would make Frank Smith the play caller and let Mike McDaniel handle the personalities and do the head coaching stuff on the sideline so he can focus on that and let Frank focus on the game. I don't think Scatterbrain, Mr. McDaniel, can handle both, and that's been proven already.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. We're going on now 3 years that a vast majority of people that follow the team have felt it would be best for the team to move on from Danny Crossman, the special teams coordinator. And Mike McDaniel in previous off seasons in retaining him has said he did not feel that the results were what they should be, but that he felt Crossman was the right one to correct them. I will say I do like some things about his process and in talking to him and how he thinks of the game, but it's just at some point the results are not there. And then you can't just keep going off of I'm projecting that he will fix this. It's just how many chances does one guy get? So I think, on special teams, yes, Jason Sanders had a fine season. Jake Bailey, very up and down, but might have been dealing with an injury. Malik Washington is a nice pickup in the return game, and they went to Tyreek Hill a little bit late on punt returns, but still some breakdowns, penalties on special teams, miscues, and it's a lot of things where, we had that one game that filled with blunders, the Patriots game, when all the talk was added ties. You had Blake Ferguson rolling a snap back. You had a punt blocked in that game, a missed field goal. So there's been times where special teams has just been atrocious. So I'm with you on Danny Crossman. And, certainly. I think it would benefit Mike McDaniel a lot if I don't know if it's pride with him, but if he sets that pride, there's got to be some sense of pride that you got to set aside in order to give up play calling duties. I think it would be best for him if he just took that load off, let himself just be the head coach, and give Frank Smith a shot. He trusts Frank Smith for a reason.
The stubbornness of Tua, and the stubbornness of McDaniel. That's a storyline for you, buddy. You want an article you want to write? The stubbornness of the two guys at the top have really hurt this team. One guy thinks he's Deebo Samuel at quarterback, and then the other guy just continues to do things hard-headedly and fails and continues to fail at the same thing over and over again. It's really baffling how frustrating those two individuals are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just a year of frustration here. And finally now comes to a conclusion.
All right, so how big of a priority, now that I think you have to admit with me now, finally, right? You cannot trust Tua ever again. He refuses to take care of himself. He refuses to learn. He talks in that press conference a couple of days ago was disturbing. I mean, all the information that Rappaport put out today, that clearly came from the team, okay? Because the agent's not going to put out that information to sabotage his own player. So the player comes out a couple of days ago, oh, yeah, I'm going to play if I'm ready to go, and this, that. And his injury's so bad that it limits everything he can do, and he's already limited as it is. And so clearly this is a guy that has no understanding of taking care of his body. You do agree with that, right? All right, right? So how do you fix the backup problem? How big of a priority is it? You have all your picks in the top rounds. You're going to have some space. You'll create some space. How do you do it? Do you get a higher pick, not a first round quarterback, but do you get like a kid that maybe might be really talented that falls in the second or third round? Do you start developing a guy to cover your ass? What kind of a backup do you have to get? How big of a priority? Because we know guard and defensive tackle and linebacker and safety. Yeah, we know those are priorities. But how big of a priority is that number 2 quarterback because of Tua?
Yeah, I mean, a huge priority. But I would think I'm going the route of a veteran backup over a guy that you find in the draft, unless you just fall in love with a guy and really see something in him and feel you're much higher on him than everyone else. So, I mean, I could be convinced if that's the case, but I'm not just automatic saying it's got to be a young guy.
Mike McDaniel will really know if that guy's special because he saw it in Skylar Thompson for 3 years. So that gives you all the information you need on that one, right?
Yeah, which is also part of the reason why I don't want to go the draft route. So
great point. Great point.
Right. I'd rather go with a proven backup that's a veteran and then bridge yourself there with that. So we've already talked about how much you're committed to this course so much, and now finally Stephen Ross has put out the statement, put everything to bed. Hey, it's like the tandem is coming back. Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer coming back. Tua's under contract, and Tyreek Hill has guarantees tied to his contract as much as maybe he wants out now, and Jalen Waddle, Jalen Ramsey, etc. Then as you stick with this core, then just bring a veteran backup that I would trust in big games. If and when Tua does miss games, then that you could just plug in and he could still lead your team to some kind of a comparable level to a QB1.
I was just thinking about it. Can we call him Jalen Wobble? Because that's what his hands do when the ball goes in his direction.
Jalen Wobble.
Yeah. Wobble. I mean, that ball's going to – I mean, he's consistent, bro.
Since my first year on the beat, I thought of that song, Wobble With It, Wobble With It, Wobble With It, with Waddle's name.
I mean, let me tell you, Jalen drops it like it's hot. I mean, all the time.
That one was used for Ted Ginn. I remember there was a viral video, as viral as you could get in 2009. Yeah.
Yep. I used Ted Ginn again this week as an example. We were the idiots that would tell him, stay in bound, asshole. Take on that guy for 2 more yards. And that dude played for 14 years because he said, no, you idiot, I'm not doing that. And guess what? We have a quarterback now that, I learned my lesson from Ted Ginn. I'm trying to, I saw Cam, he tweeted out a Michael Penix touchdown that he ran to the corner and dove into head first into the end zone. He goes, playmaking ability of Michael Penix. And I retweeted, I said, no, sir. That's actually not good for him. That's not how he extends his career. He's not a big guy. You don't be diving head first. That's stupid. And it's interesting how it comes full circle. Years ago, we criticized Ted Ginn for something that he was ahead of us in that he got it. He understood it. We wish the quarterback would actually do the same thing and figure it out.
Yeah. That'll be the biggest thing. I still hold out hope that he can learn. I feel like there's been other times where you've seen him adjust slightly, but then it still just comes back every now and then. If he can eliminate those instances, I still think he has it in him. I haven't completely lost hope that he can get that out of his system.
Great story for you. Go track down Ted Ginn.
Oh.
And write that story about him, that he was kind of ahead of his time in a way that people were critical of contact and staying in this. And he knows about it. He knows. And yet the way he played was smart, where it extended his career for 14 years. And how he dealt with even that criticism that nowadays you're not going to get that criticism anymore because you kind of understand how brutal the goddamn game is. And especially, if you're a light, a small receiver or a quarterback that's not a big dude, you don't want to take excessive hits. There's no reason for you to take any hits whatsoever. And Ted Ginn understood that. And so it's kind of interesting how it's completely, the opposite of what we were thinking as fans and what the player was doing, and how we're thinking now as fans and what the player is doing. It's interesting. So saying, and then when you write the story, email it to Tua and to his agent and all his people. So
get word to him. I got you.
Not that he'll learn, by the way.
Oh, no.
No. All right. Any other issues you see going on with the team outside of the Tyreek thing in the locker room?
Well, as far as issues, and not of that magnitude. I would think. I mean, issues just the stuff that they have to take care of in the offseason, which is all right. Backup quarterback, we mentioned, a special teams coordinator. If they could make a change there, you're probably maybe. I think you're going to have to be finding a defensive coordinator, assuming that Anthony Weaver does find a head coaching job. But maybe you luck out and the teams find other candidates, maybe that are more offensive minded, if that's what a lot of these teams with vacancies prefer. But I have a feeling Weaver is going to impress a lot of teams in interviews. So maybe you're looking for a defensive coordinator. And O-line and becoming a more physical, tougher team. So interior O-line, physicality, those are some of my priorities that I would point to. And, of course, safety. You're probably looking at a new safety tandem, whether that's with Weaver, whether that's with someone else. Obviously, the new defensive coordinator then would have to spearhead that effort.
God, I love Holland, dude. I don't know what happened to him with those knee injuries last year, but he has never been the same again, bro.
And, I asked him about that this past week, and then he said no, that his knees have been fine. So maybe he feels fine, but it's still affecting his play. But he says it's not that. So maybe he's not making excuses for himself. But
dude, he can't make excuses. He can't tell you it is because he's headed to free agency.
Yeah.
Start writing that he's. Oh yeah, no, my knees since last year. They've affected me and this and that, and then his free agency's fucked. So right. he has to feed you bullshit. But I don't care what he feeds you. I know what I see with my eyes. He's not the same player, bro. From the first 2 years.
Yeah, that much we can tell. Yeah.
God, no way. He's not even close, dude. Something happened to him with those injuries. Maybe he shouldn't have played on it. The Dolphins have a tendency of, letting people play on injuries. Jalen Phillips. So, it's kind of like one of those things. Maybe, when somebody's injured, you kind of like got to put them on the side. And so they've kind of screwed up with that a couple times. Tua, they finally learned their lesson here. There's a guy you got to protect him from himself because he can't protect himself, unfortunately. Sucks. Anyway, follow him on Twitter, David Furones _ catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Have a fantastic weekend, my brother, and we're back to Tuesdays. We'll catch you up Tuesdays.
All right, yeah. Sounds good.
You got it. All right, Welton Rayom. We love talking about Welton Rayom. Jeff is he's in pain right now. He's texted me like 86 times during the game. He's been a longtime season ticket holder, fan, Canes, Dolphins, Heat, Panthers. He is a pure hometown guy. Daniel Rayom, another hometown guy. Although he follows sports, but more casually. He flies stunt planes. Okay, that's kind of like his hobby on the side. You and I, it's sports. Daniel Rayom is a stunt plane. So when he walks into a courtroom, you think he's going to flinch when he's doing all kinds of stunts? He's got cojones. 954-966-4646. You want a pair of dudes with a pair of cojones that are going to really defend your rights? You call Welton Rayom. Anywhere in Florida, 954-966-4646. Personal injury, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Yes. All right. Let's get to remember Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Many ways to support the show. You can use the QR codes and also on PayPal. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which we always appreciate that immensely. Thank you all. Let's go to the Super Chats. What's next there, Sean? Let's catch up. True Fin Fan, how many times have you called it, Big O? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I try. I try to, I just do a service. I just provide a service here in South Florida. I give people most of the time a reasonable take. And a lot of times, a lot of foresight on what's really going to happen with most of the teams in town. I try, my brother. Thank you for noticing. Let's go. Next up. New contract, but you're out. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Yeah, I'm going to sign a new contract and I'm going to retire. I love that report. Like that alone, when I called people around the building, they were all laughing their asses off. And it was like, this is the off season, and I can't show you one of the texts, but can I describe it? Yeah. Ridiculous time of the year for rumors. Okay. Remember how, they're looking for another quarterback last year. And I told you, no, they're not. Whatever, what's her name that she was putting it out there. She was also on CBS too. God, what's her name? She was in the Denver beat for many years. A nice girl. I met her on Roner. I've had her on the show and everything, but it was a completely off report. They were completely committed to Tua the whole way. They were giving him the contract. I told you guys. It's just the clickbait shit, dude. Clickbait bullshit that goes on. Next up. Toxic fart. At least McDaniel's favorite team, the Broncos, made the playoffs. Yeah, I got to tell you, the Knicks kid did not see that coming. He plays mature. Bo Nix did not see that coming. I did not think he was that good. Really good job by Peyton in that one. And they had a whole bunch of dead money. Jesus Christ. They couldn't even pick up players. Next up. Anthony Kyle Campos. Saw the Joy Taylor news. I must have missed it. What happened with Joy Taylor? Is everything all right? You know anything about that, Sean? What's the deal with Joy Taylor?
Apparently in some part of that new lawsuit that's filed, her name comes up.
What lawsuit filed?
Against Fox, the hairstylist or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the hairstylist made a pass at her also?
No. The hairstylist, I believe, is the one that is filing the claim.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
And it goes into conversation that she had with Joy. I don't want to get into it because I don't know how much is real. I saw the affidavit, but you can make one of those up as well nowadays. Yeah, so exactly. Until it's proven or whatever, it just
right. Yeah. Anyways, we got more important shit to talk about. If she's fine, okay, cool. All right. There's no health issues. Outside of that other stuff, I don't really give a shit about that. Next up. Toxic fart. 2 of the Jets' 5 wins versus Miami, beat by interim coach. Yeah. Well, what do we have? We don't even have an interim. We have like a candy striper on the fucking sidelines. Thank you for the super chat. Next up. The Great Fear, who is fearless, is back. I just spoke to McDaniel. He said, "You're the Dolphins insider of our family." Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. That's funny. That was good. Michael Kidd J, fire them all, including Tua. Okay, well, that's I get it. Okay, but I'm going to keep repeating it over and over again. No matter what you wanted, none of that was ever going to happen. We've repeated it over and over again. Next up. It is kickback. Don't forget, front office put this clown in charge. You are correct. Kickback, you're 1,000% right. But I told you, nobody's going to be released. Next up. It is Stephen J. I've cheered for this team since I was 12 years old, 2004. At least they have been consistent. No fucking good. I just want success for once. When, Big O? I think we'll be dead when it happens or something. Somebody asked me that, like, when will the suffering end? I go, yeah, when we die. When will they win? When you die. They'll win like 100 years from now when we're all, a couple generations over. It's our luck. Next up, Chef Joey Donuts. Speaking of the chefs, thanks for putting up with my shenanigans on Twitter. You're good, bro. Thank you, Chef Joey Donuts. Appreciate you. Alex Brown. Thank you, sir. You got to tell us what you know about Reek. Can't do it. Not yet, at least. Know a few things, but there's one that, oh my God. If I drop that one, you all would lose your shit. Like, you would wonder, well, then how did everything else continue to happen? It's like crazy stuff. But anyway, go ahead. Next up. Remember when I told everybody that Flo didn't want Tua, and for weeks I kept doing it, and finally I props to Omar. He was the one that broke through and finally figured out it was Jordan Love and all that. I knew it. I just couldn't say anything about it. You know what I mean? This specific thing, I can't even talk about it. But it's you would freak out, dude. Jonathan Floridor. Big O, can you give us a small offseason mock draft like round one? I don't even do that in leading up to the draft. I don't care about mocks.
Monday, we do all 7 rounds, me and you.
Also, I think on Spotrack, we can get out of Tua's deal after a year. Yeah, 2 years. Yes, we need him next year and the year after, 25 and 26, and then after. Yes, sir, we can. And it looks like so. But I don't do mocks, bro. I don't do any of the mocks. I don't know if you follow my show. I used to do mocks when I was on QAM because they forced me. They used to ask me, you got to do a mock. We need you to do the mock, because I was always playing the stupid Kuiper role on the station and all that kind of stuff. So I would do mocks. I don't do mocks at all. I never do mocks. I don't really care about them. I think they're just a silly waste of time. Next up. Alex Brown, at least give us a hint on the bomb. I can't, bro. When I can, I can't. You know what I mean? I couldn't tell you about that whole story with Tannehill in the draft till years later. Sometimes I can't say it for years. Sometimes I can say it months later. Sometimes I can say it a year later. I don't know when, but, right now I can't. So maybe somebody's good enough to dig it out. Next up, Dolphin fans equals pain. Yes, true Fin fan. Amen to that, sir. And thank you again, as always. You're freaking awesome. Luke K. Thank you, Luke K. Is that Mexico MX? Is that what that is? Luke K again. Thank you. Kickback, broken owner, broken franchise. No fixing this till Ross's daughter takes the reins. And how do you know that will fix it? How do we know? How do we know she knows what she's doing? We have no idea. Next up, but thank you for the super chat. Corso Traven, thanks for the Euro. It's been another same old. Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has, Corso. Yeah, we suck ass. Next up, it is True Fin fan. Mike McDaniel is the Peschel Ron Forrest. Oh, run, Forrest, run. Special. Run, Forrest, run. Again, True Fin fan. I challenge Toxic Fart to a duel. Odds 100-1 for Toxic Fart. He's got no chance. For you, it's, forget about it. Overwhelming. Next up, that's it. All right, we have caught up to all the super chats. Thank you all for the super chats here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will say this. I am a little shocked that he put it out right there right away. But good. Why? It ends everything. And we don't have, stupid reports from CBS. Oh, Greer's going to retire and move to another position and all this. And that's like so stupid. Like, those people want to win badly. They want to prove themselves. Why would they walk away? They're young. Like, it's asinine with the reports that people come up with or the ideas. Like there was any consideration for anything like that. That's just asinine. Absolutely as asinine as it could possibly get. Okay? But anyway, that is the issue here. The good thing is you end it, we move on, and now it's what I told you, right? Didn't I tell you? Get past this. Get past McDaniel. I have to get past McDaniel. Get past McDaniel and Greer for you guys. Get past McDaniel, Greer, and Tua for you guys. Get past McDaniel, Greer, Tua, and Stephen Ross. Get past it. Let's start talking about what the Dolphins need to do with the people that they have in place. Didn't I tell you that? The faster you get through that, that's it. Don't torture yourself. Oh, fire Greer. They're not doing that. Oh, fire McDaniel. They're not doing it. You can bitch and complain and all of that. It was never going to happen. So the good thing is we can now move on. I like that. Okay? We know. Do you agree with it? No. Do I agree with it? No. I want McDaniel gone. I want Crossman gone. But, okay, well, maybe the Crossman one still happens. But McDaniel's going to come back, so I got to deal with that. I don't really have a lot of hope for that guy. But I knew he was coming back. So I was prepared for this news. I try to prepare for you guys for most everything. I can't get everything perfect, but it's pretty close. So how I got the Odell stuff wrong? Week and a half before they made the decision, he was clocked at 21 miles an hour. So he was running. And then he ended up getting the injury late, and then that's it. And once he had the setback, it was done. But but I'm good. I'll take the hit. No problem. But I can tell you, he was running 21 miles an hour. Season's over. I can talk about it now. And he's gone. I can talk about it. 21 miles an hour. So he was flying. And then he gets the injury because he's injury prone. That's kind of the way it goes. Alexis Palenzuela, thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. He says, I'm ready to wave the white flag on the Dolphins. No more hopium moving forward. Yeah, it kind of sucks, dude. I get it, man. I get you, my brother. It is painful to have to force yourself to come up with the hopium every single year. And I understand that. Jarrell Exposito, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, this is the equivalent of being kidnapped, tortured, stored in a basement, and being let out after you're of no use to anybody. Just got to laugh at our pain at this point. Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. But again, fiscally, they have committed to everybody. So in order for them to fire everybody, they would have to eat a lot of salaries, multi-year salaries. And I know Jonathan Jones would rather them all retire and, walk away to greener pastures because, of course, that's what people do. Mike McDaniel just got a new contract. He's going to retire. Chris Greer just got a brand new contract. His next decision is to retire and forfeit that money. Marvin Allen just got a brand new multi-year deal. You know what I think I'm going to do? Retire and kiss that money goodbye. No, mother effer. I'm going to stay right here, and I'm going to force you to fire me so you can pay me the rest of that salary because that salary is guaranteed. to put out a report that somebody's going to retire when they just signed the contract, unless they've got cancer or something. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, you know what Stephen Ross would, they would say, hey, he's got to retire. We're going to give him his money anyway. Stephen would do some really classy shit like that, So unless it's something like that, then yeah, I could see a retirement, but that's a stupid story. Somebody just signed. The ink is not even dry and they're going to retire. Fucking stupid is that, dude? And I get, look, the media, I love how lots of media, especially some of our local media, they piggybacked off that story just so they can use the clickbait part of it. Well, CBS is reporting that there are rumors out there that, and then they can write their little story about it and all that to add to the clickbait. But do they challenge Jonathan Jones and say, well, maybe they didn't know? But see, I come out last night and say, hey, by the way, that story is complete horseshit. Let me just squash the story because I'd rather just squash the fucking story and tell the fan base that deserves the truth. Hey, that's a bullshit story, but clickbait is the thing. So all your papers and everybody else grabs the thing and they don't have to take responsibility. They can just attribute it. No, CBS is reporting, and well, if Greer is fired, then they could go after this or that, or do they do this? And they can write their little story and fill their little space and get you hook, line, and sinker to read the bullshit. Instead of doing actually the journalistic thing on it and say, hey, by the way, this story is complete horseshit. I've been on the beat and I know everybody's coming back, so nobody's retiring. But I guess I'm the only guy that can be, because I'm the dick. But that's all right. I'll be the dick. I'm good. I'm good being the jerk. Devin Jordan, thank you, sir. Big O, what's the difference between Tyreek Hill and Jimmy Butler? No. Don't do that again. Don't do that again. My man, True Fin Fan, did that. Not fair. Jimmy Butler balled out, proved he got this team to 2 finals, 3 Eastern Conference finals. He stepped up in big moments. Tyreek Hill has constantly failed in big moments. Right now, they're both divas and they're both complaining. Okay. And Jimmy's wrong, and I get that, but they're not the same. Jimmy did his part. He came here and balled. Now he fucked the team with Kyle Lowry, and now he's screwing himself and the team and all that other. That's a whole different subject. But I would never do that to Jimmy Butler. I would never do what Jim. No, dude. Jimmy Butler balled out, bro. He played like a man. He played like a man and a half for a few years. Okay? He didn't have another star. He buried himself by getting Lowry here. That, I can't ask for more than, bro, Jimmy Butler took the team to 3 Eastern Conference finals and 2 finals. Whatever, circumstances, bubble and the injury to Embiid, but he still got there. And I can't say shit for Tyreek. Tyreek has done nothing. He's put up stats, but he doesn't even show up in big games. He talks shit about Kansas City and shit in his pants in that game. No, dude. No, Devin. Absolutely unfair to Jimmy Butler. It's very unfair to put Jimmy Butler and Tyreek Hill in the same sentence. Okay? Jimmy Butler's done a hell of a lot more for us. And Tyreek Hill has done absolutely nothing. Okay? Absolutely nothing. Just some stats. Jimmy won. Yeah. We're going to disagree on that one, dude. True Fin Fan says, you're right. Tyreek is no Jimmy. My bad. Yeah, bro. I mean, we have to call it like we see it. We're pissed at Jimmy right now and all that because it's hell. Actually, I'm pissed more at the Heat, not at Jimmy. Why? Because I said it on my show 2 years ago. Please trade Jimmy right now. Right off the last championship after Denver, I said trade Jimmy now. And I know I'm the bad guy. So I'm really more pissed at the Heat that they didn't have the foresight I had and said, hey, it's time to get off the gravy train right now because you've overachieved and you'll never come close to this again. And they got intoxicated like a lot of you and thought the same thing with Jimmy, and you screwed up. And so did the Heat. So I'm more pissed at the Heat for not having the foresight with Jimmy. That's really what I am. Big O, you won't tell us about the bomb story you're sitting on. I guess we don't deserve the truth at all. Nope. Say, Michael, you definitely don't deserve it. I was thinking about how smug he was talking about the O-line. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Robert says, Big O, how can you be okay with the front office with all the bad extensions made by them? I don't think all of the extensions were bad. I just think the coaching is bad and has set up the team to be a failure. This team should have had 4 more wins on it. Would then the front office look bad? 4 or 5. Even with this game too, 5 wins. What did you have? 8 wins? You should have 13 wins on the table with a real coach. Then we wouldn't complain about the front office. But we don't have a real coach. But here's where you got me on the front office, the coaching. I like what they do on the personnel side. You needed a linebacker. They got rid of one guy that didn't fit the new guy because you keep changing defensive coordinators. And then you found another guy in the middle of the season that is actually really good and has played well. It's like shit like that I think they can do their job personnel-wise. They have sucked with the head coaches. I can't argue with that. And if you want to fire him, I can't disagree with you. I can't tell you you're wrong that you want to fire them because they can't find a coach. I can't tell you that. But I like them overall personnel-wise. So, but that's just me. My hope is that Greer learned his lesson and works on the O-line. Let's hope so. Well, he did. I mean, you just couldn't pay Hunt. It's just you had to replace Hunt. And you didn't replace Hunt. You have your tackles, you have your center. He replaced the center. He didn't replace Hunt. And that's where he messed up. Yeah. Yeah. But he had a guard. He needed another one, but you couldn't pay him that kind of money. So Darth Cater, I would re-sign. He's not going to break the bank, but I would definitely bring back Darth Cater. I like him. I like him a lot. Yeah. I'm good with Darth Cater. All right, folks. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend that knows how to get it done every single time. We thank, of course, David Furones and Chris Perkins. We thank all of you for tuning in all season long. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll pass on any news or nuggets that we may run into along the way and throughout the offseason, as we always do. We'll keep you updated on everything going on with the Miami Dolphins. We'll give you everything we think of going on with the Heat and the Panthers and the Marlins and Inter Miami and everything else going on in town. Appreciate the immense support by all of you out there. Love you all. Devin Jordan, a quick super chat in there. He says all the season ticket holders should boycott. LOL. Yeah, we have a great fan base that deserves so much better. Every one of you Dolphins out there, you don't deserve what's been going on for decades. You deserve a lot better. You guys are phenomenal fans. We have a great, great fan base. And the Dolphins don't deserve you. Just remember that. The Dolphins do not deserve you. We'll see you Monday morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
You've been listening to our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The broadcast is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, RM Contractors, Toyota of Hollywood, Haineswear, Sloman's Home Security, BigCheeseMiami.com, EJD Construction. The broadcast is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley. Thank you for supporting the platform and our fantastic sponsors. Go Fins!